Almost everything that we do can be seen as us trying to establish an identity. If somebody says something disrespectful to you and then you respond in an angry way, that's you trying to establish that identity that you're not going to tolerate anything disrespectful. And if you let it slide and don't say anything, you're trying to establish that identity that you are the bigger person. And it's really up to you to decide if you're trying to establish that identity for yourself, for other people, or maybe a mix of both. And I think that since now more than ever people are struggling to find what their identity is, we're kind of just picking straws and throwing darts just to see what sticks. But a lot of us are copying identities that we see on the internet, or we're trying to learn so many new things so we can create and envision the identity that we actually want. Or maybe we just blatantly lie to ourselves and to other people about what our identity actually is. And the question in all of that really is why? Why are you struggling to find your identity? Struggling to find who you are, the values that you have, and why do we add so much emphasis to identity in general? I think the answer to that question is really just the fact that we want to have some sort of self-value, but I definitely feel like we're overcomplicating things. I don't really think it's as difficult as we make it seem. So I really just wanted to talk about a few things. One being, why do we struggle to find our identity? Another being, how do we put ourselves in a position to find it? And also really just how to find comfort in being your authentic self. One of the alumni that I met at my college said something that really stuck with me for a while. She said not to attach your self-worth or your self-value to an identity. And I think it's really important to preface this video specifically with that, because we get so tied up in that identity aspect that we think all of these identities define us and define the person that we're meant to be. For example, if you're a person that got so tied up in trying to find an identity, you might have made something like school or the gym your identity. So now if you have a bad day in the gym or you have a bad day in school, your entire day is really messed up. And it's not because your entire day actually sucks, because I can guarantee all 24 hours of your day did not suck. But it's really because we've attached our self-worth or our self-value to being a scholar or being a gym rat. So the second we have a minor inconvenience with the things that we attached our value to, it feels like our entire life is kind of falling apart. And this is really one of the main issues that I feel like we have. We take what's supposed to be an aspect to our identity, or we take what's supposed to be an attachment to our life, and we make it our overall identity. We take what's really supposed to just be an addition to life, and then we make it our entire life. And I'm gonna keep using the gym and school as an example, because I feel like that's probably the most common with the age demographic that watches me. But the gym should not be your identity at all. If somebody asks, who are you, what are your values, what do you personally hold value to in your life, the gym should really not be in that answer. God did not put you on the planet for your identity to just be somebody that goes to the gym, because that is so surface level, it's so stupid, it's so BS. But I think that's the entire point in why we do that. The reason that we really attribute these things and try to make it our identity is really because it's just surface level. It's really easy to explain to other people. It's easy to just say that I go to the gym or I'm a student. Nobody's really going to question that because everybody understands. And everybody wants to feel like they have an identity, so they choose the easiest option. And that's not me saying that some people don't have an identity. I'm just saying that some people are having a hard time finding it, so they choose the easiest option. They choose something that could be surface level, so nobody really questions if they actually have an identity or not. I think one of the universal things that everybody on the planet would say that they want is some individuality or maybe an identity. No matter how hard somebody tries to convince you, nobody wants to be just like everybody else. We all want to be unique. We want to have these little quirks that differentiate us from other people. And when it feels like we don't have that individuality, when it feels like our identity is kind of lacking, it feels like we don't really have a purpose. And of course, nobody wants to feel purposeless, so we strive to find that identity and we strive to find that individuality. Like, just as a really random example, this might be why a mixed person might make being mixed their entire personality. And nobody take that personally. I'm mixed myself, that's why I'm using it as an example. But the reason that some mixed people make being mixed their entire personality is because not everybody's mixed. It's something unique about them that separates them from other people. It gives them that sense of individuality. So when you feel kind of lost in your life and you feel like you can't find your identity or find your purpose, you hold on and attribute those little things that are really surface level to your entire identity. And all of that stuff is really just to protect you from feeling like you don't have a purpose. So like I said, people hold on to these surface level things so they can feel like they have an identity, or they feel like they're unique compared to other people. And for you, it might be that being mixed is your entire personality, or going to the gym is your entire personality. Whatever the situation is for you, I feel like finding your identity has to go a little bit deeper than all of that. You can't just be complacent or be comfortable with not really knowing your identity and then latching on to the one thing that seems easy for you. But like I said before earlier in the video, why do we struggle to find our identity? What about finding an identity is so difficult for us? Why do we latch on and get complacent with these easy answers instead of actually just finding what our purpose and our identity actually is? I think the reason that we struggle to find our identity is because of the overconsumption of literally everything. The overconsumption of everything is really just things that we see in books, or things that we see in movies, or things that we see on the internet, just anywhere that we try to apply and attach to our lives. We struggle to find our identity because we consume so much and we're trying to apply all of these things at the exact exact same time, we're not really understanding what exactly we do resonate with. Like, we go on the internet, we see a lifestyle from a creator that we feel like is going to resonate with us, when in reality, we haven't taken enough interpersonal time to realize what we actually resonate with. If you're on the internet consuming so many different lifestyles, consuming so much information, it's easy to feel tricked and feel like you're resonating with something, when in reality, you just need a little bit of time with yourself to understand exactly the things that you value, the identities that you actually want to resonate with. A lot of people would argue that your identity is something that's completely set in stone by the time that you're young. And I don't really know if I resonate with that or agree with that at all, but I feel like regardless of what you believe identity actually is, the overconsumption of all of these things is still going to take a toll on what you actually think your identity is. Because you get to a point where maybe you're reading a book and you try to change and fit your identity with what the author is saying, when in reality, like I said, it's about finding your identity, finding exactly what you resonate with, really taking that interpersonal time to figure out exactly who you are and what you want to be. Just remember that every single time you consume something and try to change your personality or change your identity with that, you're not finding an identity, you're finding a temporary feeling of an identity. And those things are completely different, and over time, as that starts to fizzle out, you're gonna recognize what the difference is. One is the authentic version of yourself, and the other is just something that's probably just a phase or just a trend on the internet or just something that you've seen from somewhere. An identity is defined as the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. It's essentially just your authentic self. It's the values that you hold. It's really just the type of person that you are, the type of person that you're trying to be. Your identity is not going to the gym or attending school. That's not who you are. You're a person who goes to the gym. That's not your identity though. You're a person that attends school and works hard in school, but that's not your identity. But if you really want to use that and you want to go below the surface level a little bit, you can really say that your identity is not just going to the gym, but it's really just the fact that you're being persistent or consistent in trying to change and improve yourself. Or that person that makes school their entire identity. You could really just say that that determination for success or the constant striving for success is really what's embedded into your identity. So really what I'm trying to say with that is that you really got to just look a little bit below the surface level. And there's a few things that I've done personally to really find my character and understand exactly what I want to portray and the values that I hold and really just my identity in general. The first thing that I had to realize was to stop consuming content as a consumer. When I used to read books, it was really easy for me to read something and try to just embed that into my personality without really critically thinking about it. But instead of just blindly listening to people and blindly following and consuming content, try to think a little bit critically on how you actually feel about what you're reading. The person making a video, making an Instagram post, making a book or whatever it is still a person on the planet with access to the same exact information that we have. You are definitely qualified to give an opinion or have an opinion on it, even if you're not as educated on the topic. It's still important that you have your own opinion on the things that you're consuming. On top of that, I feel like the most important thing is to just spend time with yourself. You understand the identities and the values of your friends because of the amount of time that you spend with them, or even the people on the internet that you're watching and consuming. You're understanding the values that you want to portray because you're spending time with them and seeing how they interact and how they portray their values. So if you really want to find out exactly what you want to represent or the type of things that you want to embody, just spend time with yourself in the quiet and just think to yourself about a lot of things. Think about what happened in your day and how you feel about those types of things, and think about the things that you've done and why you acted in that way, what values could have led you to act the way that you acted. It's so crucial and important to spend a little bit of time with yourself and just understand exactly why you do the things that you do. But a lot of us don't really do that because we're constantly filled with entertainment. We're always watching a show, listening to music, listening to a TikTok or whatever it is. We're always constantly consuming something that it's hard to spend time with ourselves and just understand a little bit about how we're feeling or how we're thinking about anything at all, really. The main thing that really helped me was journaling. Being able to write things down and then come to my own conclusions on why I acted a certain way has definitely really helped me. And I feel like anybody that actively journals and takes the time with themselves to understand exactly what they're feeling is going to understand themselves just a little bit better. One of the last things that I wanted to talk about was really just having confidence in your identity. I know a lot of us backtrack out of our identity because of insecurity. We feel like we shouldn't be thinking the way that we're thinking, or we feel like we shouldn't value the things that we value because maybe another person makes us feel insecure about it. But I'm always going to be an advocate for standing up for yourself and standing up for your values and never backtracking on your identity and never backtracking on the things that you feel like are important to you. So never let another person make you feel like the things that you value or the things that you hold to a high degree in your life are minimal. Because if that's truly a part of your identity and that's truly an aspect in your character, it's not minimal at all. It's important to you and therefore should be respected by the people that claim that they care about you. So just try to find that confidence or that comfort in yourself and never backtrack out of something that you feel like is important to you. But yeah, that's the end of my yap session. I hope that somebody learned from my experiences, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.